People like their drinks, but the sparkly golden drink that originated in Detroit has more of what could be called a cult following. The effervescent elixir has a great origin story too. Ginger drinks were all the rage in the 1860s. So while a young James Verner started working at a local drugstore in Detroit, he began tinkering with his own version of a ginger ale. He was hoping to tame the fire and the bite of the ginger root by adding a hint of vanilla and other spices to his tonic. But in 1862, he signed up to serve with the 4th Michigan Cavalry in the Civil War. He dumped his concoction into an oak barrel and went off to war. When he returned 4 years later, in 1866, he tapped his keg. Out came a bold, fizzy, caramel-colored liquid. Verner declared it deliciously different and knew the secret sauce was the aging process. It was the time that made the difference. Now, there's a little debate about this creation story. Even though the company's website supported this myth, some argue Verner didn't create the beverage until after the war. Either way, though, what he made was liquid gold. After the war, Verner opened up his own pharmacy called Vernors Pharmacy on Woodward Avenue in Detroit, complete with a soda fountain. It was the only place around where you could buy the beverage, and it was popular. Verner then sold his ginger ale to other soda fountains, but he required them to use special equipment so his drink could be properly served. The Vernors fountains were ornate with a V design. James Verner was a respected pharmacist in Detroit. In fact, he was a founding member of the Michigan Board of Pharmacy, formed in 1887. This organization helped to establish important industry regulations and safeguards. He would become Michigan's first licensed pharmacist. Verner's ginger drink sold better than his other medicinal ones. So in 1896, Verner closed his pharmacy and opened a soda counter and a plant, also on Woodward Avenue, completely dedicated to his super drink. James Jr. also went to work with his dad. The company bought the old Riverside Power Plant in 1918, building a 6-story main building the following year. Verner died at the age of 84 in 1927. When the family was asked when exactly Verner retired from the business, they joked, a few hours before his death. James Verner II kept the business moving forward, though. In 1939, the company purchased the 10-story Siegel building that was adjacent to the current location. After 2 years of renovation, it was said to be the most modern bottling plant in the world. Vernors and Detroit really go hand in hand. They grew up together. That riverfront location would become one of Detroit's most iconic landmarks. And part of that skyline was the huge illuminated Vernors sign along the Detroit River. This is where the ferries took people to Bob Lowe Amusement Park, and the soda fountain there became a favorite stop for thousands of daily visitors. In 1951, Detroit wanted to develop the area where the old plant on Woodward was. Mayor Cobo offered the company the old convention hall on Woodward if they'd move. Vernors put $5 million into the new 7-acre space. On the daily, the company could now produce 75,000 cases. That's 6 million bottles of sparkly ginger goodness a day. That's more than 1,000 a minute. There were large windows too, allowing anyone who passed by to watch the magic happen. On top of the new plant was a 55-foot neon sign featuring their mascot, the bearded gnome pouring a glass of the fizzy wonder. Because the sign was so huge, it generated a lot of heat, requiring its own air conditioning system. The family sold the company to a group of investors in 1966, 100 years after it started, and has changed hands and ownership a few times over the years since then. Today, it's part of Dr. Pepper Snapple, one of the biggest beverage producers in the country. In 2016, Vernors celebrated 150 years, making it the oldest continuously made soft drink in the United States. Vernors drinkers are loyal. Some swear by its healing medicinal powers. Got a headache or tummy ache? Drink some Vernors. Sore throat? Heat some up and sip away. There's jokes about how the folks in Michigan only keep Vernors in their medicine cabinet. There are recipes galore that include Vernors, from cakes and cookies to rib brines and baked beans. Even Aretha Franklin, who hailed from the Motown Mecca, used Vernors to glaze her holiday ham. She called the ginger ale a Detroit treasure. But perhaps the most famous Vernors concoction is the Boston Cooler. It's named after the street in Detroit, Boston Boulevard, by the way, and not the city of Boston. It's like a root beer float, except made with Vernors. As a side note, it's delicious if you've never tried it. The side hustle of a dedicated pharmacist spawned the oldest and perhaps most celebrated drink in America. So pour yourself a glass of the golden goodness and use Vernors to toast another piece of Americana. Thanks for watching Memory Mountain. If you enjoyed this video, please click to subscribe to our channel and hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to tap the notification bell so you'll be one of the first to know when we post our next story looking back over the landscape of Americana.